Welcome back to Dave Knows Comics. Time to do a trailer breakdown of the brand new Avengers Infinity War trailer. First, we open up with Nick Fury's speech about forming a team, but it soon switches to the other Avengers reciting the lines from the speech as the trailer rolls on. The first shot we see appears to be Tony in what looks like to be an alien planet with a bloody hand. Then we follow that up with Bruce Banner shirtless in a hole. Now we know that the Hulk reverts back to Bruce Banner if he falls from a great enough distance. Also, this answers the concern at the end of Thor Ragnarok, where he wondered if he would ever be able to turn back into Bruce Banner if he were to turn into the Hulk again, which he did at the end of that movie. And then we follow things up with a shot of Doctor Strange and Wong with a hole in their ceiling. Presumably, the Hulk fell through into the New York Sanctum. Then we see the Scarlet Witch and a human-looking Vision who seem to be romantically involved now, which is interesting since Wanda was on Cap's side during Civil War and Vision was with Tony, but now they're together, so I guess they mended that fence. And also, this ties into the romantic relationship that they had together in the comics, which I never liked. I think it's stupid. He's a robot, so why are they together? But anyway, after that, we see Thor in a spaceship, which I'm assuming is looking over the same planet that we saw Tony on earlier in the trailer, and could also be the same exact planet that we've been seeing Spider-Man, Tony, and Peter Quill on in some backstage photos. Then it's back to Bruce Banner, who is next to a Hulkbuster Iron Man armor arm in what looks to be Wakanda, judging from the buildings in the background, as well as some later footage, which I'll get into later on. And in the left side of that frame, we do see an arm, which I think is Black Widow's arm. And then in the next shot, we have Black Widow, who is now sporting a blonde look, and Wakanda is not just the home of the Black Panther, but it's also the last place we saw Captain America and Bucky during the end credits scene of Civil War. Then we go into the Marvel logo while the Avengers score plays. And then we follow that up with some confirmation that Bruce Banner does visit the Sanctum at some point. But that Sanctum now has a hole in its stairs, and he's also standing alongside with Wong, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. And while that's going on, we hear what sounds like Thanos speaking. After that, we see a shot of Peter Parker's arm hair standing up, which is backing up the idea that he does have spider sense in the MCU, which was also hinted at in Civil War, but not shown at all during Homecoming, which definitely had some people voicing their concerns. And then after that, Peter Parker looks directly behind him to see in the New York skyline what could be Thanos' way of traveling to Earth. Next is a shot of Doctor Strange, Banner, and Wong, as well as Tony, who is wearing his civilian gear, but is clearly rocking a new arc reactor, which is pretty curious considering he was cured of his condition at the end of Iron Man 3. Next is a shot of someone stepping over some bodies, which look to be Asgardian, but they could also be from Kamar-Taj. Not really sure who they might be. And then we get even more confirmation where we see that Loki did in fact steal the Tesseract at the end of Thor Ragnarok, and it looks like he might even be trying to use it as well. Presumably that might be how he and Thor survived the implied attack from Thanos during one of Thor Ragnarok's end credit scenes. However, I don't think he's successful. And finally, we get to see Thanos, but without his helmet. Just like Loki and Thor, we tend not to get a lot of hats in the MCU. I really don't know what their problem is and their hatred of hats. I mean, come on, let these people wear their helmets. I mean, he's a big purple alien. Does a hat really make him look any dumber than he already does? Afterwards, we see that Spidey does finally get to wear the souped-up armor that Tony offered him at the end of Homecoming. It has glowing eyes and is a bit of a cross between his armored suit and his big-time suit, as well as design-wise at least, has a very similar look to one of Ben Reilly's costumes. Then we see Thor working his muscles, and it does look like his eye is still missing, but his eye patch may not be on. And if we slow down this shot, we see someone throwing a spear. Now, it's not clear who this person is, but I think this might be our first glimpse at Proxima Midnight, one of Thanos' children. Then we see Black Panther saying, "Someone get this man a shield." Presumably he's talking about Cap, who gave up his shield at the end of Civil War. However, he could be talking about Bucky, who does yield the shield at some point in the comics. Then there's a quick shot of Scarlet Witch, and then there's the reappearance of a full Hulkbuster armor, which we haven't seen since the second Avengers movie. After that, we have some action scenes fighting monsters and whatnot, and eventually we get to Thanos chokeslamming Spider-Man. And next is a shot of what looks like Loki's spear digging out the Mind Gem from Vision's head. And if you remember, the Mind Stone was in Loki's staff in the first Avengers film. And while this does seem to be Loki's staff, I feel fairly certain that it's not Loki holding it, but instead Corvus Glaive, who is another one of Thanos' children from the Black Order. Then we see Thanos putting an Infinity Gem into his gauntlet, but it's not the Mind Gem that we just saw. It's a blue gem, and in this universe, that means the Tesseract or the Gem for Space. And right next next to it, already in the gauntlet, is the purple or power gem, as we first saw in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. After that, we go on to see Bucky, Black Panther, and Steve Rogers fighting alongside the Wakandan army. Next is a shot of Falcon flying in battle, and in the middle of the field we can see what looks like Iron Man in the Hulkbuster armor. And as we go towards the close, we get this shot of Captain America, Bucky, Black Widow, Black Panther, Hulk, War Machine, and Falcon. All this signals that the team will reunite in Wakanda, or possibly even before. And then we get the Avengers logo, followed by Thor, eye patch and all, meeting up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, including Team Groot, Mantis, and a mustache Peter Quill. Well, there you go, there's my breakdown of the new Avengers Infinity War trailer. But is there anything I missed? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, this has been Dave Knows.